Today we're on the MKT. The nice thing about the MKT, it's shaded and it's smooth, it's pretty fast, relatively flat. Downside is sometimes it's crowded. I'm 11 miles in on the MKT. Taking a break, having some water. It's afternoon, so it's a lot hotter than it was yesterday morning. But it's still only in the upper 80s. That's pretty good for this time of year for here. Today I want to talk about safety because one of the topics came up yesterday when we talked about earphones, earbuds, whatever, headphones, was the safety factor involved, and there were some really good comments about being able to hear other people when they ring their bell, or being able to anticipate criminal style stuff too. Some really good feedback on that, and just how is that basically giving a criminal thought that because you have earbuds in that you're not paying attention, even if you can hear perfectly. Those are all great pieces of feedback, so I do appreciate the comments. But today I wanted to talk about the infamous bell. Lots of people on trails or roadways have a bell on their bike. And I've not had a bell. So it made me think about, is it important to have a bell? Do you have a bell? Do you use one? I've always been one that I just sort of call out that I'm on your left and use that instead of a bell. Maybe the simplicity of just being able to ring a bell is easier than having to call out to someone. So I'm just curious how many of you actually use a bell like that. Do you think it's important? I've never had one. Partly, a big part of that is handlebar space, honestly. With all the bike packing gear that I normally have on, I'm completely out of handlebar space. Now there are some alternatives to assist with that. You can put sort of some extensions and accessory bars on, I suppose, where you could mount your bell, but then it would be kind of up out of the way. You'd have to reach for it every time you wanted to use it. A lot of the things that I have on the handlebars now are fairly weighty items, so I don't know if an accessory bar would hold them well. So, you know, the tent that I carry on the handlebars is a little over 5 pounds. Now, the feed bags that I use aren't quite as heavy with the water bottle in them, probably only 1.5 pounds or so overall. But I wonder about accessibility then, if I have to move them around the way that they're built to sort of strap around the handlebars and then go down under the fork for their stability. So I'm just wondering, do you use any kind of a notification system? Because I currently don't. Hasn't been a major problem, and usually unless you're riding on trails or pedways like that allow bicycle traffic, that'd be about the only time you really need it. I don't really see the need usually on the highways. There's not that much traffic with bicycles usually. Maybe there is where you are though. I don't have that here much, but anyway, it's a nice day. I'm going to try to get in, 22 or 23 miles, expand my distance a little bit. Here's where they give you these nice benches here that are donated by folks. And show you what I'm looking at here is that the trail kind of makes a turn here. So you've got this railroad bridge, old railroad bridge, because that's what these are, all rail to trail areas here. This is the MKT, and get this railroad bridge, and then it goes over this really nice little stream or river, and then the trail goes down this way. And that, if you keep going that direction, it takes you to the Katy Trail, which maybe you've heard of. It's about another maybe 6 miles, I'd say, 5 or 6 miles from here. And I'm sure we'll be making some trips down there, but anyway, it's pretty here. Lots of shade. And the only problem is that when you're in a really shady area like this, there's not a lot of wind. So it gets a little still. And after you've been biking for a while, it really makes you sweat, which is not always a bad thing. Anyway, we'll take you back on the way home. It's been fun making these videos each day. I know that sometimes maybe they're repetitive for you all, but this is kind of day to day. I think that's the downside of a video every day is the content. So here comes a biker now. Here's another great question. Just thought of it. When you're riding along and you're passing bikers, do you greet every biker? Do you say hi? Do you give them the nod? Does everybody know the nod, when you're riding? Or many motorcyclists, if you've seen this, when they're riding down the highways, you'll see them give the little wave with a hand down kind of a thing. Do you do that? Do you give them the finger flick like, hey, how you doing? Do you say hi to everybody, or do you just head down, keep pedaling? Curious about that. I find myself sometimes give them the nod or say hi. Sometimes if it's morning, I'll say good morning. Sometimes it's the wave. I find the finger wave is much easier, and it still says hey, kind of acknowledging fellow bikers. Anyway, I'll get back to it. Leave you guys alone for now. Just packing things back up and noticed this on the ground. It's a wine cork. Somebody's been having a lot more fun out here than I've had historically for drinking wine out here. Doesn't sound like a bad idea, does it? Well, I made it back 22 miles. It was a good ride. It's kind of hot, but got some more time in the saddle, which is what I'm after. For me, it's usually more about saddle time, getting my butt in shape, than it is the legs. I don't know if it works that way for you guys. All that dusty air has made me kind of raspy. Anyway, thanks for coming along today. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's think a little bit about that bell. VEDA day 4, maybe? Now I'm losing track, see? See you again soon.